Right, so anything to the power of a half is a square root. So the square root of 64 is equal to 8. Right then, so 36 to the half would be the square root of 36. But we've also got a minus sign. So the minus basically means it is 1 over 36. And the half is the square root. Okay, so each one of those is separate. What we can do then is, this will be the square root of 1 over the square root of 36, which is equal to 1 over 6. So if a power of a half is a square root, power of a third is a cube root. So that is the cube root of 27. So what number multiplied by itself 3 times gives 27? That is 3. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. All right, so 27 to the power of 2 over 3. Well, the 3 in the denominator is a root. So that is the cube root of 27. Then 2 means we need to square that answer. Okay, so cube root of 27 we did on the last one, which was 3. We're going to square that answer. So the answer to this is 9. Okay, so we now got a fraction to the power of a fraction. However, remember, each one of the parts of that power has a role and we look at them individually. Okay, so here is simply a third. The number 3 at the bottom means it's, oops, sorry, I'm knocking my table. It's the cube root, and that's it. It's the cube root of all of that. Now, the cube root of a fraction is actually the fraction of the 2 cube roots together. And I'm just going to put the 3 in there. Okay, so you can separate them. So the cube root of the cube root of 8 is 2. The cube root of 27 is 3. So 8 over 27 to the power of a third is 2 over 3. So 3 steps on this one. You've got a minus, you've got a 2, and then you've got a power of a 2. You've got a negative, and then you've got a root of 3. So first one is we're going to deal with the negative. So that is, when it's minus, we have 1 over, which is the reciprocal. When you do 1 over a fraction, basically it flips it. I'm not going to do the proof now, but if you want to try that one day, have a look. Basically, it's all about dividing a fraction, and when you divide, you multiply by the reciprocal. Have a go, see if you can work it out, the proof. It's quite a simple one, actually. Right then, so we've dealt with the negative, which gives us 64 over 125. Deal with the root next. So we've got the cube root of 64 divided by the cube root of 125. Oops, put the 3 in there, makes all the difference. And that is all going to be squared. Now, just bear with me a second. I'm going to get another whiteboard. There we go. Got a little bit more room now. So, and we square that. Don't remember that bit. Don't forget that bit. So, cube root of 64. What number multiplied by itself 3 times makes 64? That is 4. And the number answer for the bottom, the denominator is 5. We are squaring that, which means that it is 4 squared divided by 5 squared. So that is 16 over 25. So actually, as with a lot of stuff in maths, if you break it down into little steps, even though it looks quite daunting, it's just 3 little steps that have their own little role to get that answer. All right then, so the next one was 9/16 to the power 3 over 2. So remember, I've swapped these round now. So we've now got a 2 in the denominator. It doesn't matter where it is, that 2, provided it's in the, it doesn't matter what the number is, whatever's in the denominator is a root. Whatever is in the numerator is the power. Okay, so basically we are going to work out the square root of 9 divided by the square root of 16. That's the 2 bit dealt with. And then the 3 is the power. So we'll put that to the power of 3. So what have we got here? Square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 16 is 4. And we're going to raise both of those to the power of 3. What are those? Well, 3 to the power of 3 is 27. 4 to the power of 3 is 64. Now, what you will find is you will recognise these numbers. You need to recognise what the first few cube numbers are as well. So always recognise that 64, the cube root of 64 is 4. The cube of 4 is 64. If you can remember those, especially on a non-calculator paper, which these could quite feasibly come up on, it will make your life a lot easier. Maybe get a revision, like a little card, and write them on. All right, right, one more to go. Okay, so the last question is upon us. I made this up at the end and I thought, right, let's see how you get on with this one. So remember what I've said before. Each one of these has a role. The 2 up there is the power. The 3 as the denominator is the root. So let's do the root first. Notice I've done a bigger whiteboard. So x to the 3, y to the power of 6. We're going to take the cube root of that, divided by the cube root, because that's what that 3 means. And it doesn't matter at this point if you're like, oh, well, I don't know how to do that. Doesn't matter. If you know that that 3 in the denominator means I need to take the cube root, you do this step, because that in itself is worth 1 mark to you. Okay? And then you know there's a 2 there as a power. So whenever you've worked that out, you need to then square it. Okay then, so the cube root of this. What multiplied by itself 3 times makes this here? I've actually put the powers in quite nicely, so you will get a whole number in terms of the power. Okay? Think about, you've got x times y squared times x y squared times x y squared. Remember, when we multiply, we add the powers. So you've got 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. So that's y to the power 6. You've got an x to the power 1 times x to the power 1 times x to the power 1, which is x to the power of 3. So that is the cube root of your numerator there. Okay, so let's pop that in. So you've got x y squared over the cube root of z to the power of 9. What multiplied by itself 3 times makes z to the power of 9? Well, if there's 3 of them, you're going to have, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, that's it. So z, I suddenly thought then, I thought, hang on a minute, that's not going to work. Yes, it will. It's good that I second guess myself, because it's good that we're checking things as we go along. Sometimes in my videos, I'll be like, oh, need to just double check I've done that, because when I'm talking to the camera or talk, something's recording, I'm trying to concentrate on about 3 different things, which for me is a challenge. Right then, so we've got z to the power 3. If you add those together, because that's what we do when we multiply, 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 3 is 9. So we've got z to the power of 3 on the bottom. And then we're going to square that, because that's there then. So all we've done, this step was working out the cube roots, and we're still keeping that square there. Now we'll deal with the square. So to the power 2 means we're just going to have 2 of those together. On the bottom will be 2 of those together. So z to the 3 times z to the 3. Okay? And when you simplify that, I'll put that up there because I'm running out of space. So we've got y to the power of 4, x to the power of 2. So I'll put that up there. X to the power 2, y to the power 4. Divided by 3 plus 3, adding the powers, z to the power of 6. If you've done those and you did them correctly, well done. If you didn't, you made some errors along the way, don't worry about it. Make a note of what they were. Have a go at some more questions. And if you've got any questions for me, please get in touch. Thank you very much. Bye.